Let's make the juiciest, flakiest, meatiest patties you've ever had. First, you're gonna wash all of your fresh ingredients. Next, you're gonna make your fresh seasoning. So here I have some green peppers, I have scallion, I have Scotch Bonnet, I have onion, I have a couple of carrots, and I have some garlic. You're gonna wanna get all of that into your food processor, like so. And then next you're gonna add in some thyme. You're gonna wanna take the thyme off of the stem. You don't need to add the stem in there, so just take the time, no pun intended, to get your thyme into the food processor, like so. And next you are going to blend it up. Blend, blend, blend. You're gonna wanna pulse everything together and get it combined. Just like this. So it should start to resemble chopped ingredients. And this is the type of consistency that you're looking for. Next, you want to get your garlic and your onions into a hot pan and saute, and then add in your ground beef. Then once you add in your ground beef, you're going to want to start to break that apart with the back of a wooden spoon. And then you're going to want to just allow the beef to brown. This is an important step. Before you add anything else to it, you want to ensure that your beef is cooked really, really well and thoroughly. So take the time to do that. Next, you're going to add in all of your fresh seasonings that we just prepared into the pan like so. And then you are going to mix everything together and allow that to really cook. Allow the beef to incorporate the flavors of all of that fresh seasoning that you took the time to make. And let everything just come together and get really happy there in the pan. Yes, the ingredients do get happy in the pan. Next, you're going to want to make your panade. And basically what panade is just a mixture of bread and water. It helps beef to stay tender, and it'll also ensure that when we put the beef in our patties, it doesn't leak out. Nobody wants that when they're making their patties. So we just have 3 slices of bread and some water mixed together in a food processor, and now I'm combining it here to make it into like a paste. Then you're going to add it to your beef mixture like so. Next, I'm going to add in some soy sauce and then also some browning, which is going to give it a nice depth of flavor and also create that brown consistency of the meat. Last, I add in some scallion. Those don't take long to cook at all, so I like to add them in very last and then stir everything to combine. Like, look how nice our meat mixture is looking now. So next you're going to want to make your pastry. So you're going to combine your flour. So I have 2 cups of flour here, and then also some turmeric to give the patty that nice patty color, and also some curry. And then you're going to add in your baking powder and also your salt, which is necessary. Then you're going to combine all your dry ingredients like this. I mean, you could use a fork, but I've used a whisk here. I just find that it helps to bring everything together really nicely. Next, you're going to take your butter. It has to be cold butter. Cold butter straight from the refrigerator. As you can see here, it's very hard to cut. It just came out of the fridge. But it's really important that the butter is cold when you're making any type of pastry. It ensures that everything stays flaky. So as you can see, I'm cutting the butter here using all of my strength to get through that butter. And then I'm going to chop it into cubes. And as you can see, I'm trying really hard not to touch the butter, trying to handle it as little as possible so that it doesn't melt at all and that it stays very, very cold. So I've cut it into cubes here, and then I'm going to add those cubes into the flour mixture like so. Get everybody in there. And then next I'm going to use a pastry cutter to break apart the butter. You could use a fork, but I just prefer to use. So next you're going to add in your cold buttermilk and also your ice cold water. It's important that everything is really cold when you're adding it to your pastry. Next, I like to combine everything with a spoon. It just ensures that you handle the dough as little as possible. And once you've kind of formed a ball, you're going to want to turn the dough out onto a floured surface like this. So again, I have not touched this dough at all up until this point with my hands. So as much as you see me do here, this is as much as I'm actually going to be handling the dough. It's just enough to bring the dough together into the correct consistency. And I think it's really important to work with dough with your bare hands. I mean, that's how you get to know if the dough is done by feel. It's always by feel. So once the doughs come together like this is what it's going to look like. You're going to take some plastic wrap and break it off like so, and then place your dough in the plastic wrap and wrap it up. Again, no pun intended. And you're going to place it in the refrigerator like this for 30 minutes or so. So after 30 minutes has passed, we're ready to go with the dough. So you're going to unwrap it from the plastic, and then again your surface has to be floured. You're going to then take your rolling pin and roll the dough out until it's about 1/4 of an inch thick. Then you're going to take your butter from the freezer. This step is important. It has to be cold butter, ice cold, and grate it over top of the dough. Then what you're going to do is fold the dough over into itself. And this is a process that's called lamination. The more times you do this, the flakier dough will be. So as you can see, I'm rolling it out again, and I'm repeating the exact same process that you saw me just do. Again, with the grater, with the frozen butter, you're going to grate the butter over the dough like so, grate, and then fold it into itself. And again, the more times you do this, the flakier your dough will be. So after the final time and you've rolled your dough out, I like to use the back of a bowl. I think it gives it a really good size for the patty. And I don't have a lot of fancy gadgets in my kitchen, so I've just used a bowl. And then what you're going to do is cut your circles for your patty, for your pastry. And again, I'm just using a bowl and a regular kitchen knife here. So then you're going to take out the excess. As you can see, I'm having a lot of fun. And then you're left with your circular disc like this. So then what I do is I take the meat mixture, 1/4 of a cup, and I actually do use a measuring cup to ensure that every single patty has the same amount. And then you're going to want to take some butter and, some water and brush it along the edges. I mean, I guess you could use butter, but I've used water here. And you're going to want to fold it into itself and then seal the edges. Once you've sealed the edges, then I like to go back in with the back of a fork, and you're basically just crimping and crimping and crimping the pastry just until you've gotten all the way around. And then what that does is it ensures that the patty is securely closed, nothing's going to leak out. After that, you're going to want to put it on a baking sheet, and then you're just going to repeat this process for every single one of your patties. I'm obviously having a lot of fun here doing this. So I spread the meat mixture around, take some water, I rub it along the edges, and then I fold the patty over from the empty side onto the full side, and then lightly press it down with the back of my hand, and then take a fork and you just crimp the edges until you've gone all the way around, and that's how you get that nice little crimping texture. It's not a fancy gadget, it's just a fork that I use. So after you've done that with all of them, then you have them on a baking sheet like so, and I place them in the oven for about 30 minutes. Or until they're golden brown. In my oven, it took 30 to 35 minutes. And when they're done, this is how they look. I mean, look at all those layers. It's like patty perfection. Like, it's amazing. Sometimes I'm just impressed with myself. But yeah, look at inside. Like, it's perfect. It's flaky. It's full of meat. It's the right colors, the right consistency. And it's just juicy. I mean, who wouldn't want to eat this patty? Like, I could easily eat 3 of these. And then right at the end, I have to do quality